Sam and Carolyn with you. Bit of drama in Philadelphia's Flyers senior vice president Bobby Clarke. He made an appearance on the Cam and Strick podcast. Very unfiltered thoughts on former Flyers GM Ron Hextall, especially looking back at the 2018 draft when they took Nolan Patrick second overall.
None of our scouts wanted Nolan Patrick. It wasn't, I don't know where Patrick should have gone after his performances in Brandon. He's a pretty good player, but he certainly, they wanted Makar. Of course, he went next. No, he's a superstar, and Patrick hasn't played number. But Hextall made that choice himself. And there were other choices that were made in our drafts that we're paying for. We've got 2 or 3 first-round picks that are never going to play. And that's why we're struggling. Hexie made some huge mistakes. And
hey, he gave the Blues Braden Shen too, So so
that was just as bad. Nobody knew it. Hexie made that on his own. All our scouts, it was at the draft. Our scouts were so mad at Hexie for doing that. We also had a chance to get O'Reilly from Buffalo, but we didn't. Obviously, that was the manager's decision, but it was another one that the scouts weren't consulted on.
He just kept going, Sam. You don't usually hear someone that unfiltered.
Not when you have an organization that's steeped in tradition like the Philadelphia Flyers and a team, that's obviously going through its struggles right now. But it doesn't seem like there'd be any sense of timing for this. But, a lot of times people like myself, we speculate on what we thought might have happened at a draft. This is true from inside the room, true blue as it could be. You never see anyone throw someone under the bus the way that Bob Clarke did to Hextall. So that's just unbelievable news coming out there. And when you go back and think about it, pretty easy to redraft. But when you're hearing it from the horse's mouth, that's an entirely different story.
Yeah, and now Nolan Patrick, of course, with the Vegas Golden Knights, and Ron Hextall, the GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I feel like this story's not going to go away anytime soon.
I guess the whole goal through this was I was hoping we could get some people back and get our group together and find out what we have, but we just keep digging a bigger hole right now. So, as a group, we got to get back to, we got to find an identity. We got to start to play the game the right way. To me, our process has been off all year, and I've asked Mike to come in, and he's a detail guy. He's had some success in this league, and right now we got to forge a new identity. We got to learn to play the game the right way, and we got to get guys buying in. So, it's a tough day today, but hopefully this is a new beginning as well.
Being a member of this organization is really special to me, and to be a Flyer and now to have an opportunity like this, and to not only to stay on board, but to get this opportunity and to have a chance to turn things around and get things going the right way, that's also incredibly exciting for me too. So, 1 second my emotions are over here, and then the other they're over here. But that said, again, I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity, and I'm obviously looking forward to tonight to getting going.
All right, from a player's perspective, if you find out this morning that your head coach is no longer the head coach, is it an easier transition when you play later that evening with an assistant coach sliding into that role, at least for the interim?
I think it helps initially because there's some familiarity there with the assistant coach, but it's always difficult, in my opinion, to go from assistant coach to head coach with the same group. The reason being, you're always the guy to soften things for players. You're the guy there to be the sounding board and let them know it's okay, or talk to them when they're out of the lineup or things aren't going well. Well, now as the head coach, you're the guy making the decisions. You're not going to be coming up to guys and making them feel all nice and good about themselves. So that relationship and that dynamic changes right away when they become a head coach.
Especially when they've been struggling the way they are. That compounds it too, and your point makes a lot of sense. In practice, in games, on the bench, on the plane, you've established that relationship with Mike Yeo, for example. And now all of a sudden, it's Mike Yeo's now in the captain's seat. He's in the cockpit. He's on the stick. And that's going to be a very different dynamic there for sure. I agree with you, especially based on how much Philly has struggled this season. It's been a really, really difficult year for them. To me, it's been a difficult difficult year and a half, really, because this went back to last season. So I'm curious to see where this goes for them.
All right, he has been the head coach before in the NHL, Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues. You said he's behind the stick. It's not a fighter jet right now. It might be, I don't even know what it is.
Right.
maybe the Dumbo at
it's a Cessna right now.
Yeah, Disney. What style does Philly want to play? Like, what is the identity of this team? Because it feels like we haven't seen it in the last year and a half.
Yeah, and the positive part of it is that he knows the finer details. He understands what they're not doing well. So it's about getting back to the structure of how he wants them to play. How do they want to get out of the zone when they're in the defensive zone? How do they want to defend the rush? How do they want to defend in zone? How do they want to create offense? How do they want to get through the neutral zone? All those elements, he's already going to have a great understanding of what they are doing and how it needs to prove. This is a team that certainly had great aspirations. Bringing in Ryan Ellis, unfortunately, he's been injured. There's been a lot of different issues that have gone on with this group, but they're not playing to their potential. I think it puts the players on notice because the next thing that happens is good players, good people get traded. And they have the responsibility for the players, in my opinion, to turn things around.
Yeah, and to that end, every game, when you go into a game, you know who your team is and what it is, typically. So you know the way that Dallas is playing now. You know the way Colorado plays in their A game. You know what the Blues do when they're on their A game. Night to night, game to game. Chuck Fletcher said it himself. We still don't know what the Flyers are right now. So I'm very curious to see, are they going to be an offensive team? Are they going to defend? Physical? The Flyers have always been physical. Going into play in Philly, you know you're getting outshot 15-4 in the first. You're getting run through the glass for you guys. And you know there's probably going to be a scrum or two or fight or two. Right now, you don't see either of those things from them. It's kind of curious to me.
It's that compete level, right? You think about what they're not doing that has to change immediately in tonight's game is they've got to compete. You've got to bring that passion and that fire. And it starts with the leadership group. And I think that this is an opportunity to hit reset. It's an opportunity for guys to really take a look inwardly and figure out what they have to do individually to help this team have success. Because at the end of the day, they're comfortable. And making them uncomfortable is always a good thing, in my opinion. Shaking the tree once in a while and having a little bit of confrontation in that room is a positive thing. So we'll see what comes of this. But certainly this is the first chip to fall. The guys have to actually take care of the rest.
Bill, you start us off when you're watching this team. I mean, this might be a layup, but what's missing in your mind?
The players and the effort, okay? Alain Vigneault gets fired. Mike Yeo takes over first couple of games, especially first game. We're going to look into the first game under Mike Yeo. New coach. You think there would be a bunch of excitement. All of a sudden, it comes here, and it comes up. Now, stop this play. If you can just back it up just a second here. Yeah, just back it up right here. So you got Atkinson here. You either got to commit. This is effort. You got to play the body, but you're going to see he doesn't play the body, and he gets beat on this play. So it's a little skip, go. So Atkinson doesn't play the body, and the guys around him. All of a sudden, because he didn't play the body and stay on the right side of the puck, it ends up in the back end of the net. That's just simple effort. And this is play. Rack this up just a bit. Sorry again. Take it back again. Yeah, right here. So this is on the penalty kill. Stop here. So usually when you're on the penalty kill, you got Couturier in the middle of the ice. A lot of times, if this guy is going to come off the wall this way, which Atkinson did, you would like to have Couturier come off this way, but he doesn't. And that opens up the whole middle of the ice. And then you get two defensemen caught tight together and get burned, and Cale Makar goes end-to-end. Watch. What happens?
Trying to get gap control.
Yeah, trying to get gap. Look, and all of a sudden, this is on a power play, but it's a one-man show for Cale Makar. Provorov's supposed to be a good defenseman. Doesn't happen on this play. And then quickly up, trying to seal off lanes. Now, if you get it back here. Now, stop here. On the side, Konechny was just falling asleep. He cleanly gets beat to the net. This is nothing but have a little lunch pail and hard at work ethic. Go. Konechny late, getting there lucky. Carter Hart is able to get over in time and make a save and bail out Konechny on that one. This one is probably going to be one of the worst that you see, and we'll end it off with this. Stop here. Two Philadelphia Flyers here, okay? Get back in time. Help your defenseman. Who's going to end up coming up with this puck? Is going to be way back here. Go. Look at flat-footed in the neutral zone. Keith Yandel under pressure, duress. He's got nowhere to go with it. I got no one back to help me out. He gets taken off. Tyson Jost gets a goal. It's almost inexplicable. This one, back this one up too. Sorry, this is the last play right here. This is self-explanatory. Keep
Feels
going.
like I can't help myself.
This is it right here. Just keep going, keep going. Right here, that's it. Yeah, right here. So, right here, stop it. And you got your captain, Giroux. Go. Tries to take a shot. And then he misses it and falls down. What happens? A shorthand. Look at Giroux. Just tumbling and rolling on the ice. And it goes down the other way. He ends up. So Mike Yeo takes over, and this is where I really have the problem with the team. So there's some plays there that they don't execute well, but it's just about there's no effort level. So you got to sort out in Philadelphia. Do you want to be a Philadelphia Flyer? Do you want to play for this team? So if you wanted to, Chuck Fletcher, the GM there, has got to make a decision on if you want to be a Flyer. Because a lot of these players, to me, when I watch them play, they're not interested. And this is where an outside coach, Bruce Boudreau, a different voice in the locker room, is a big thing for Vancouver. Lane Vigneault's out, but Mike Yeo was there. He's part of it. They hear his voice. Maybe there's new systems that he's going to try out, new strategies, but it's still the same voice that they've heard. They've got to bring someone in there and get players on alert, because the last 2 games with a new coach, you would expect the players aren't going to get fired initially. Who do you fire? The coach. Eventually, you're going to have to make roster changes, personnel changes. That's going to happen in Philadelphia. You got to weed some of this stuff out, because I'm watching this Philadelphia team play, and they have players playing like they do not want to play and have that uniform on, and that's a problem.
So you think the roster is all wrong?
At this point, to me, the roster it's an issue, because you had Sanheim, a top pick that hasn't really developed. You have Provorov, you have Konechny, you have Couturier's been okay, but you go down the list of all their Fabry, of all these guys, Lawton. Not you, Brian, but the other Lawton that haven't
flashback for
but they haven't developed. They haven't developed. Their young talent haven't exploded like they have expected to. The veteran leadership hasn't been there. The chemistry is wrong on so many levels with this team. So the new coach, Mike Yeo, whoever, they've got to make some changes in Philadelphia beyond the coaching staff.
I agree with almost everything you pointed out there. I can't think of anything I didn't, other than your conclusion. And I only say that because I went back and watched a couple of their games, and I felt like they were trying to think their way through the game rather than play instinctually. And one of the usual build-ups to that is a team that's so tight, that's so restricted with systems and things like that, that now there's not certainty in doing your job and knowing what it is. I don't want to use the word confused, but I saw a team that was cheating all over the ice offensively. And I could find a zillion clips from those 2 games.
I went through those 2 games, and I picked out those clips. You could have did 20 more.
Yeah, so you got a team that's cheating offensively. That doesn't work. You have a team that really is missing what all the coaches are teaching in today's game, which is the ability to reload, track back, recognize turnovers, whatever you want to call it. It was not evident in their game, and that really stood out to me when I watched the tape. Is Mike Yeo going to be able to fix it? The best thing he could probably do is steal a page from Bruce Boudreau and just simplify things right now. Make it really crystal clear. Play simple hockey. I have a hard time believing that group of guys doesn't have more to give.
They have a lot more to give. A lot. Effort-wise, you watch.
Well, Mike Yeo's got to pull that out of him. I think he's got to simplify things. I think things got so tight there that eventually there became so many systems that the players didn't know which way was up or down.
That's what it looks like on tape.
Yes, it really does. And we could go on for hours about the Philadelphia Flyers. Ultimately, I know some of the players. I know they care. I know they're disappointed. But somebody needs to come in and give the whole group a do-over. That's Mike Yeo's job. Forget about systemizing the world. Just let them play hockey for a few games and see how much better they do.
Okay.